I was the first Democrat elected in my town in 35 years. So I have had to, and I have successfully worked across the aisle. I think we all want to, because the work is on behalf of the people, not on behalf of the parties.
Well, I think you need to first have a piece of legislation that has some commonality, and then I think you start visiting with each one of them, and you take your legislation to them, and you see if you can get them signed on, and you work across the aisles to have your legislation approved. Certainly you have to go through committees in advance of that, but it's very important to work together. Racing is very, very important. Whether there's a casino that comes in to help the racing industry or hurt the racing industry, that's yet to be seen. I've already been starting to meet with some of the folks to figure out what's the best avenue for Saratoga Springs and for Saratoga County as a whole, for the area as a whole, and for farming and for racing. Because they really are, it's combined.
Well, I'm hoping to, I would certainly request to be on the committee for gaming and racing. And we know that there's a big tradition here in Saratoga as well as overall. And so it's just important to advocate for it.
Well, I think the reason that New York State has the worst business climate in the nation is because we tax too much, we borrow too much, we spend too much. And it's just a terrible business climate.
I think there's a lot of opportunities in order to help support the job creation. There's supporting the infrastructure, there's supporting the continued job training and the nanotech industry that we have and the growth that can bring us, as well as supporting our small businesses through opening up lending opportunities and just advocating for people in that area.
I do support term limits, and let me quantify that. I support term limits at the state level, the assembly level, not at the local level. I believe having a supervisor and a county clerk, for example, or a district attorney, the continuity is very good. At the state level, I do believe in term limits, whether it be 8 or 10 years. I also believe that the term should be 4 years and not 2. I think we constantly talk about reform and campaign reform, but if you had 4-year terms, which gives you an opportunity to actually get things done and have the public actually see whether you're doing a good job or not, you could cut the amount of money that we spend on campaigns in half.
Well, I actually do think that there should be term limits, although I hope to stay in office as, at least 8 years, which when you're running for Senate, they're every 2 years, so there is that. But I do think that we do need to have fresh people in regular. I am a supporter of that. But I'm hoping that I will do, advocate for the people and work hard that they will continue to be wanting to send me back to office.
I think the one we need to work on first and foremost is Medicaid. That is the largest unfunded mandate that the counties, local governments are being having imposed on them. And what I've been saying is that I believe that Medicaid should be sent down to the local governments. The optional programs associated with Medicaid, and there are 32 of those. New York State elects to have 31. I think they need to be reviewed by the local governments.
Mandates almost cover everything. And when you ask other legislators, it's like, where would you start? They said, oh, there's just so many. So I think that's it goes from looking at the Medicaid and how we can support the efficiencies of that to make that more effective, to reducing the bureaucracy that people are under the strain of, where we're using duplicate forms, or we're not using the technology that maybe we could in these places. So I think it runs the gamut, and I think there's lots of opportunities for helping to, and you just have to peel away at them one at a time.